Good morning, everybody. Dr. Rick Wallace dropping in on you. Look, I hope everybody has had a great week to this point. We're past the midpoint of the week. I'm hoping that you have been able to accomplish and achieve some of the goals that you set out for the week. I hope that you have developed uh, a force of momentum that's working for you, something I want to talk to you about briefly today. Even if you're having a difficult time, even if things aren't going the way that you would like for them to go, understand if you're still breathing, you're still in the fight. If you still are waking up every morning, you're still in the fight. There's still hope. There's still the opportunity to do what it is that you set out to do. Remember, this isn't about a life of ease. This isn't about walking out and being able to circumvent the struggles and vicissitudes of life. This isn't what that's about. Winning and being successful and progressing in life and growing in life, which is the ultimate goal. It's about perseverance. It's about learning from mistakes. It's about taking the feedback from failures. It's about overcoming obstacles. It's about winning and reward, which means you're going to have to face some discomfort, some displeasure at time in order to achieve and have the things that most people don't have. Most people are going to check out. Most people are going to bog down. A lot of people are going to accept their current state as their lot in life. That's not how you get on. That's not how you move forward. How you move forward is that you set in your mind a destination. That's your destiny. That's where you're headed. That's what you are focused on. You focused on whatever it takes to get there. You have to understand that this is not going to come easy. If it was easy, what? Everybody would do it. Right. Anything that everybody is doing is not where you're going to find the brunt of your force in life, your place in life, your position in life, the ability to express the greatness that is an innate part of your design. The designer didn't design you. The creator didn't design you for you to be mediocre. Your destiny was not mediocrity. Your destiny was not average. Your destiny is to be impactful, to leave a mark on this world that you're living in, so that even after you're gone, people know you were here and people still feel your presence and your impact. That's what life is about. It's about creating a legacy that outlives you and speaks of you after you're gone. That's where we get the idea of certain people being great in this world, is because they made an imprint on their environment. They made an imprint on their world. Before I get off into this whole momentum thing, it's not going to be long, probably about 5 minutes at tops. But before I get off into it, I want to remind you, if you haven't gotten book number 23, Merging Souls, Healing, Hope, and Restoration in Modern Marriage, check out the link in the chat box. It's also going to be in the description box. If you're thinking about getting into a long-term marriage, long-term relationship. It's written for marriage, but you're thinking about getting into a long-term committed relationship. If you're in one, if you are struggling in one, these are principles that are dated. This isn't a cultural evolution type book. This isn't go along to get along type principles. This isn't do what everybody else is doing. If you want something solid, if you want something that lasts, and there are going to be challenges, I don't care how much you love a person. I don't care they're going to be. If you want something to show you what it takes to make it last, what it takes from both parties to make it last, you want to read this book. You want to get it, and the link is going to be in the chat. It's also in the description, and that's also a lot of other resources in the description box. Now let's talk about momentum. I hear a lot of people talking all the time, say, man, I can't seem to get any momentum. I can't seem to build any momentum, or I lost my momentum and I don't know how. Well, momentum is an aggregate force. It's a force of aggregate actions, so to speak. What do I mean by that? It means that you build momentum by starting from a standstill and taking the first step. Most people get lost there. They don't want to take the first step. They don't want to get engaged. They are fearful of failure, fearful of being ridiculed, fearful of what people will think, fearful of the uncertain. And so they sit there, they procrastinate, they never take that first step. The first point in building momentum is taking the first step. But here's how you get to momentum. The first step starts the movement. But if you know anything, if you're pushing something heavy, and the first thing to do, the hardest thing to do is that first step, to push it, to get it moving. But what has to happen immediately after you take the first step and push? You got to follow it immediately with another one while it's still moving. Why? Because it's going to be easier to get that first step in using the energy that's already created from the first step to create the second step. And then you do it again, and then you do it again, and you do it again. And what after a while, it's moving easier. If anybody's ever worked out in a gym and gotten behind a sled, you know what I'm talking about. Anybody that's trained and used a parachute, you know what I'm talking about. Any type of physical force. It's the same thing mentally, emotionally, psychologically. You've got to get it moving. And then after you get it moving, what you have to do is you have to consistently take steps while in motion. That's how you maintain momentum. You have to use the force already created to continue the push and the direction. Most people want to take a stop, then want to go back. That's why so many people who go to school and drop out or take what they call a break, hardly ever come back and finish. A lot of shots out to those who have. But the thing is, when you start something, you want to finish it. You want to finish it, and you want to finish it with momentum. You want to finish it with a force that said, I got involved, I got engaged, and I consistently pressed towards the particular thing that I was moving for with some discipline. And that's another thing. Stop using your emotions as a force. You get happy and excited, you go out there. You get angry and want to prove a point to somebody, you go out there. Well, those aren't longevous. Those don't have longevity. They are for indicating something. Emotions are indicative. You know, if you're angry, normally something has happened where you've been wronged. If you're sad, there's some kind of loss. If you're happy, something went the way you wanted it to go, and on and down the line. And then there are these other emotions you definitely don't want to get into: jealousy, envy, strife, bitterness, and all of that. But it all has an origin that is indicative of something you think or feel or you've perceived about something. It's not what you use to make your decisions, and it's not what you use as a motivator. Your motivation is simply why you do something. What keeps you going is your discipline. You got to be disciplined enough to take the step. Because see, some days you're going to wake up and you're not going to feel like. I just mentioned marriage. Your business, your finances, all of these things. Some days, the things that you're required to do, you're going to wake up and you just don't feel like it. Life isn't about what you feel like doing. Life is about you being committed enough in principle and focus to do it anyway. I said something the other day, threw people off. I said, ain't nothing wrong with being lazy if you're disciplined. And a lot of people lost their mind because they didn't get it. Lazy is how you feel. Lazy is this notion, I really don't want to. But if you're disciplined, I know people who are naturally lazy but highly disciplined, who are getting it done. Why? Because what they do has nothing to do with how they feel. What they do is based off of the principle that this is what has to be done, so I'm going to do it. And actually what I found out with lazy people is they get it done faster and quicker. They start on it quicker and sooner, and they finish first. Why? Because they want to go back to doing what they really want to do and rest and whatever. It's about a discipline. I'm going to do what I have to do. If you put it in your mind that something has to be done, it'll get done. Most people have it in the I want, or it should be, or it will be nice to category. You got a lot of stuff in your it should be category that needs to be in your it has to be category. And when you move it to a have to be in the top 3 or 4 slots of what needs to be done today, it gets done. It's about prioritizing the things in life that you say you really, really care about. But in order to build momentum, you are going to have to commit to taking step after step after step. And as that energy builds, you consistently take steps. And the more you do it in consistency and rhythm and in pattern, you build momentum. And the momentum makes the force so powerful that it carries you. You've got to learn how to build your momentum. Nobody can build it for you. It's going to be directly associated with the steps you're willing to take on a daily basis to get something done. On that note, I'm going to get ready to get off here. I actually have a client in a few minutes, but I wanted to stop by and drop that on you because I'll be sitting up talking about it. See, that's discipline. I'll be talking about doing it later. And I'm always doing something. If I'm up and I'm at the office, I'm working. I'm not sitting around chilling, waiting on somebody to call or waiting on something to pop off. I'm making things happen. I have a goal in mind. I have things that I need to do for me, myself, my family. And that's what I'm doing. On that note, I'm out of here. As I always say, I live my life on full so that when I leave this place, I die on E. That's my challenge to you, is that you do the same thing. Don't forget, if you haven't ordered Emerging Souls, Healing, Hope, and Restoration in Modern Marriage, go ahead and make that move. If there's something else in the description box that you see that motivates you, that you would like to partake of, working with me directly, for instance, or grabbing one of the courses at the Visionetics Institute, go ahead and do that as well. On that note, I'm out of here. You guys have an unbelievable day.